This is your Barbados Today Evening News Update, so glad you could join us. Government Storm Repairs Committee got down to business in earnest today to provide relief to hundreds of Barbadians whose homes were damaged during the passage of Hurricane Elsa. Housing Minister Dr. William Duguid, who visited the National Insurance Corporation units at Rosemont Deacons Road this morning, told reporters that a total of 250 NHC units had been damaged by the storm, but the situation was being dealt with. He also assured that all cases would be handled with urgency.
We've already completed 14 blocks in Deacons. We're now working here in Rosemont to get as many of them repaired as quickly as we can. And then when I leave here, I then move to a storm repairs committee meeting. That we have 95 houses that have completely collapsed, and we're prioritizing those and getting those contractors assigned, the sites cleared, and pushing to get as many of these people housed as possible. You'd appreciate that this is a big task that we have to do with over 1,200 reports, 900 houses that have roof problems, and many that are collapsed. And we have to prioritize, and every day, as the general manager is reminding me, every day more and more reports are coming in. So it's a lot to do, and we're on the ground getting as much done as we can to start with.
Meanwhile, General Manager of the National Housing Corporation, Ian Gill, told reporters that affected homeowners who need material to repair their homes can help to speed up the process if they have access to skilled personnel.
There are quite a few people who have skilled persons living in their communities who can assist and aid them. What I want to do at the National Housing to hasten the process is if you can get that skilled person to do the quantities for the work that has to be done, inclusive of hurricane straps, etc. Make sure you put the full works in it, and you get it off to the National Housing Corporation. I will send out officers to check, to quantify that it is the exact amount, and we will hasten within 48 hours to get that material to you, so you can use that process to get your house back up as quickly as possible.
Customers in at least 5 parishes are still without water as the Barbados Water Authority continues to restore services across the island following the passage of Hurricane Elsa. In its latest update, the BWA said it will take some time, but work is continuing.
Work by BWA teams in conjunction with the Barbados Light and Power is still underway to restore power at some BWA facilities. Most of our stations have been returned to electrical power from the grid. A few of our facilities remain on generators. While our repair and restoration work continue apace to restore the water supply to the entire island, some sections of St. Lucie, St. Andrew, St. Peter, St. Thomas, and St. George at higher elevations are still challenged.
The Barbados Light and Power report this evening that 80% of customers now have power. The company, however, continues to face mounting complaints. Communications Manager Jackie Marshall-Clark maintains the current system is trying to meet all the needs of customers.
So let's take, for instance, a feed on the feeder. And the feeder is really just, the word we use then where we come to the distribution lines that feed all the different homes. On the Providence feeder in Christchurch, there's 7,132 customers. On the Sam Lord feeder in St. Philip, there are 5,736 customers. And I can go on. And the Buckley feeder, 5,335 customers. So when we're doing restoration, we go after getting as many customers back online, back to power supply as quickly and as safely as possible. So we go in search of whatever the fault is, maybe on the Providence feeder, so that once the guys can get up there, investigate, figure out what it is, and get it fixed, we bring 7,132 customers back into power supplies. So sometimes what that means in the effort of trying to restore those bigger groups of customers, sometimes we have to leave the smaller pockets of customers to get to after that particular big job. So it's not that we're leaving them for last. There's a reason. It's part of the restoration strategy, and we still will get to you
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital has had to make changes to how the public must access the facility as a result of the damages to the property from Hurricane Elsa. Security consultants for the hospital, Philip Lewis, said a fallen tree has destroyed the hospital's back gate, making it inaccessible to traffic, leading to management implementing changes to the way vehicles and pedestrians enter and leave the property.
So what we've had to do is actually redirect vehicles entering the hospital, coming from the Martinsville side, come around by the new A&E extension and come in that way to conduct the business in the back of the hospital. Until this is fixed and repaired, then that will be continued for the time being, for the foreseeable future. Hopefully it won't be that long.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, outgoing CARICOM chairman, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, insists that the regional bloc is more relevant than ever. Addressing the 42nd meeting of leaders today, Rowley stressed that the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic have only underscored the importance of the integration movement.
In dealing with this pandemic, it would have been unimaginable for any one of us to face it alone. We have shared resources, expertise, and support which have kept us afloat in turbulent times. The CARICOM identity belongs to all of us today. And today, as we acknowledge CARICOM Day, 20 years since the signing of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, I applaud the I Am CARICOM initiative, which seeks to bridge that divide and facilitate more active participation by our citizenry.
On the international front, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson today announced that face masks will no longer be legally required and distancing rules will be scrapped at the final stage of England's COVID lockdown roadmap.
First, we will reinforce our vaccine wall, reducing the dose interval for under 40s from 12 weeks to 8, so that everyone over 18 should be double jabbed by the middle of September, in addition to our autumn programme of booster vaccines for the most vulnerable. Second, we will change the basic tools that we have used to control human behaviour. We'll move away from legal restrictions and allow people to make their own informed decisions about how to manage the virus. From step 4, we will remove all legal limits on the numbers meeting indoors and outdoors. We will allow all businesses to reopen, including nightclubs. We will lift the limit on named visitors to care homes and on numbers of people attending concerts, theatre and sports events. We will end the 1 metre plus rule on social distancing and the legal obligation to wear a face covering, although guidance will suggest where you might choose to do so, especially when cases are rising and where you come into contact with people you don't normally meet in enclosed spaces, such as obviously crowded public transport.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.